afternoon, Outliers. Happy Monday. Happy December. Happy Christmas season. Happy post-Thanksgiving. Happy post all that stuff that I missed last week. So hope you don't hate me. I took the week off. It was nice. The family and I took a little vacation. Funny story, my wife, she loves Thanksgiving. Like, Thanksgiving's her thing. She absolutely loves being the hostess, right? And so all the family was meeting us at this this lodge that we rented. And my wife packed so much stuff, completely filled her car, her SUV. And I'm like, we're going to have to take two cars. We're not going to physically be able to fit in your car with all the stuff that you've put in this. So we managed to take both cars on this little road trip, which was so ridiculous to me. And then so as you know, I have a Tesla Model Y Performance, and it's like the coolest car ever. I love it so much. But I ran into my first range anxiety. So this place we went to is about 180 miles away. My car has a 300-mile range, okay? 300 miles in quotes. And we had like a winter storm blowing through, and it was a really strong wind, like 20 plus mile-an-hour winds. I'm headed directly at it. And I looked on the app. It said we get there about 30% on the battery. I get in the car, because the car and the app have a little bit different way of measuring the range. And it says I'd get there with 15% battery. And I'm like, whatever, that's fine. No big deal. We're cruising down the road, going into the headwinds, and we get probably, is a 3-hour drive. We're probably an hour into it. And the range has been going down and down and down and down. And I call up my wife and I said, my car now says it's at 4% range. It's telling me to turn around and go charge up and try again, basically. And I was like, I'm going to have to draft behind you. So she took her car and I drafted behind her to get there and managed to get there with 11% battery, which that's fine. But it was really the first time I've ever had range anxiety in that car. And there were no superchargers in this area, right? No superchargers within like a 100-mile radius of it. So I had planned all along to plug into a regular wall outlet. And we got there Monday and left on Friday. I arrived with 11% battery, plugged into the wall outlet. When we left on Friday, it had 93%. So it charges about 1% per hour on a regular 110 wall outlet. So that was ridiculous. Yeah. So if you're ever in the market for a Tesla, or if you have a Tesla, maybe you've had a situation like this. I will tell you, if we could do anything with Elon having Donald Trump's ear, is to just put like 2 superchargers in every gas station, right? Just put 2 supercharger pump, take out 1 pump, put in 2 superchargers, and then call it a day. I think that would be more than enough to service all of America. But on my wife and I actually did 2 little vacations. Friday, we left town to do a little anniversary trip. Our anniversary was on Friday, down to Wimberley, Texas, which is like a little small town wine country type thing, which was pretty cool. But one of the gas stations we stopped, it was a Buc-ee's. It was a Buc-ee's that we stopped at, had 72 superchargers. I mean, I've never seen that many superchargers combined. That's 72 all at once. That was pretty cool. So just a little story to get you on by. We definitely had a nice break, and I hope you did too. Now, I'm curious, did you trade at all? I saw we're hitting new all-time highs. I'm curious, have you traded at all? Dave, good to see you. Don is here. Randy's here. Tug is here. Mikey Mike is here. Brian's here. Michael's here. Peter's here. Peter and I have been DMing. I have not watched the video yet. I have it pulled up on my PC, actually. I just haven't watched it yet, but I'm really stoked to see what you got. The cold and the wind factor. Yeah. Last year, Brian, we chatted about this. The cold wasn't so much of an issue, but the wind is a giant issue. In fact, they have a, I could Google it, but there's like a stat that shows how much the wind resistance compounds as you go up from like 60. It's like double at 70, and it's like double again at 80. So it's like 4 times or whatever the wind resistance at 80 versus 60. So I assume when you have a 20-mile-an-hour headwind and then you're doing 60 at that headwind or 80 at that headwind, that it's just even higher. So yeah, the wind is actually a much bigger deal than I expected. I did have to charge all week. Yeah. Monday to Friday. But that was on that 1% regular wall outlet type thing. Sebastian, good to see you. Government doesn't own gas stations. I know, but being that Elon's like putting in the ear of Trump, he'll get something passed. I'm sure of that. Dave says, I actually wrote code in Arizona to require that the county I worked in, I encourage rapid charging stations. It'll take a while to get there due to infrastructure, but we thought ahead. That is awesome. Dude, and honestly, I don't think it needs 72 chargers like at that Buc-ee's. We really don't need that. If you have 2 chargers at every gas station there is, I am sure that is adequate enough to fuel the whole United States. And at some point, maybe we transition more to electric vehicles. I don't know. Yay, Buc-ee's. Mikey Mike says, hybrid with gas while in gas mode. You know what I should have done was get a gas generator, put it in the back seat, and then hang it out the window. Dave trade this week. Ooh, he's up 19% on HPQ. Saw it bottomed out and rode it up. Very cool. Okay. So we had a long internal discussion today. One of the things that we will be changing up is, of course, I was all in on politics right before the election, but we're going to be doing a lot more education focused. And here's where I'm thinking, especially for our newer traders like Mikey Mike, who is like neck deep, learning as much as he can. There's 2 things. First, I feel like we at OVTLYR have let you down a little bit because we haven't given you a real hands-on how to get started trading. I mean, I really do try, honestly. But one thing I want to do is create a very start to finish. This is how you start trading, A, and this is how you use OVTLYR in that trading, B, right? Now, as you know, whenever I'm in there trading, I'm not going through all those pieces, right? I'm just going in for execution. So we're going to really focus in on the first section of the trading rooms of these meetings we do every day. The first section being answering questions, right? Not, I mean, if you guys want to propose the questions, you can, but April is going to be out researching all the questions that are like common questions for newer people, right? And it's going to help a ton for people like Mikey Mike who are new to trading, but it's also going to help us gain new viewers, right? Because the people like Mikey Mike, I'm sure, are out there Googling up these questions. And I want to be the one to answer those questions for you. Now, if I answer those questions for you, and then I transition into actually trading and showing you, hey, this is what I did. This is the answer to the question. And then B, this is the execution of that. I think that's going to be huge, right? I think that's going to be great content. So I'm really excited about that. I think that's going to be really, really good. So that's going to be the plan. So, and honestly, April didn't send me topics today because I asked her to, and I guess she missed my message. But the topics will come first, and then the trading room, and then on days like today where we don't have any trades because of market conditions, right? Of course, there will not be trades a lot of time. I'm still going to go back and talk about and read through those trading books, some of my favorite trading books with you, right? So this is not just this is watching Chris trade, see you later. This is, I'm trying to help you out by teaching you something. I'm going to show you in practice using that thing in the moments when there is time to practice and use that thing, right? And then when we're not actually trading, going through and talking and learning from some of the greatest traders of all time who have written these books, which, you know, a lot of them are my friends. So it's pretty cool. I think this is going to be really great. And of course, I want to deliver you the best program possible. But at the same time, it would be awesome if we could get OVTLYR to grow huge, because I'll be very honest with you. We definitely want more customers, right? We definitely need more of you guys to tell more of your friends just how great OVTLYR is and how awesome it is. And so we can do that organically by showing and teaching and, you know, getting that YouTube algorithm to push us out even further. And it can help me a lot if you just do me a favor each day, hitting that like button to tell YouTube to spread it out to more people, as well as share this to anyone you feel that is someone who could use this, right? So thank you so much for giving me a minute to stand on my soapbox. And let me catch up on the chat here. Dave says, also require two 20-volt outlets in all garages. And new construction. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. I had to have an electrician come in and put a NEMA 1450 outlet into my garage. It was about $500, and I'm telling you, it was like right under the what do you call that? I am not a builder, of course. The switcher thing in the garage, the panel. It's like right under there. And I was like $500 for that. So that would be awesome, Dave. I think people would really be stoked about that. Mikey Mike says, awesome. Peter sounds great. Awesome. Very cool. All right, let's jump over into our market analysis. Welcome to the Outlier Trading Room. This is smart trading made simple. This is where we save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Christopher Uhl. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I've been successfully trading since 2009. I'm a partner with OVTLYR, and this is my style of trading using the OVTLYR data. I call it the golden ticket trading strategy. So real quick, how does OVTLYR work? It's a four-step process. OVTLYR monitors how investors are reacting to changing market conditions, news, price movements, and the economy. Number two, OVTLYR determines if investors are acting irrationally fearful or greedy, and by how much. OVTLYR gives buy and sell signals when those irrational behaviors reach an extreme. And number four, allowing you to get into the stock move before the OVTLYR move happens. So let's jump over into our member highlight and check out what's going on in the Discord. I did make a post that I was going to be out of town, and it was real crickets. I noticed after I was gone, so that was pretty cool. Because I'm always here for you guys. I'm really glad that we can have that communication going on. But there's a lot to catch up on here. Sebastian, let's show him that we can make money even when he's not coaching us. Yeah, that's actually what I was asking. I want to see how that went. Give that a rocket emoji. Tyler Anthony talked about how he is still feeling pretty lost. And this goes back to what I'm talking about here. He's still feeling pretty lost. One of the things Mahesh and Mark and I have talked about this. And in fact, I recently bought a product over the weekend. It was a spreadsheet add-in for Google Sheets. And it's really cool because it actually goes into your like bank and your credit card, and it pulls out all your transactions and puts them in the Google Sheets for you. And I was like, hey, this is really cool. How do I do this? And they had a really simple one page. Step one, step two, step three. And I was like, oh, yeah, we could use that. That's exactly what I'm sure Tyler Anthony and new people to OVTLYR are having that exact same thought is, where do I start? Right? Especially when you get into one of these, I mean, it is like, what the hell even is this, right? It reminds me of the first time I saw an options chain. The very first time I saw an options chain, I remember looking at it. I pulled it up. I think it was on Yahoo Finance. I looked it up, and there's, numbers on this side, numbers on that side. And I'm like, what does all this mean? I just want to make money. Where do I even start? Right? And we want to not illuminate. We want to eliminate that learning curve. So Tyler Anthony, I appreciate you making that post here, because this is absolutely something we need to work on. Miraculous jumped in, and Mahesh was talking about how this is something we're working on too. I'm gonna skip ahead over to Mikey Mike's question about trading for a living. So I have this book. I've never met Dr. Alexander Elder in person. I feel like Steve Burns and I talked about him a bunch, but I've never met Dr. Elder. But I have that book. Is it the new? How about that? And in fact, I got the study guide to go with the new Trading for a Living. So since Mikey Mike was asking about it, I thought I would pull this out here. I have a handful of tabs on this book, not very many. I don't remember how much I paid for it. It says it was $80 retail. Yeah, I definitely didn't pay that. Too cheap for that. But honestly, I mean, just looking at this, right? It talks about some trading psychology, the meaning of a bar chart. For some reason, I tagged that. Support and resistance levels, which that was before I knew about order blocks, and holy moly, order blocks. Some trading rules talking about EMA breaks, right? If it breaks down through an EMA to get out. ATRs, average true range, page 93. In fact, let's go through this. Average true range is an indicator that averages the true ranges over a select period of time, such as 13 days. Since volatility is a key factor in trading, you can track it by plotting a set of ATR lines above and below a moving average. Don't worry about that. But they'll help you visualize current volatility that you can use for decision making. So actually, for example, plotting that one ATR level up, like for rolling trades, or the half ATR level down for a stop loss, that's exactly what he's talking about here. I didn't remember that was part of it. And then he talks about setting targets using ATRs, kind of like what we talk about. So my point with that, Mikey Mike, is save the money. I don't think that this one in particular is worth the $50. Certainly not the $80 retail. And another $45 for the study guide. But I've read it all. And watching these videos and, going through New Trader, Rich Trader, Complete Turtle Trader, and other books that we're going to go through, it's going to be well worth it, where you don't need to get that particular one. So just put my 2 cents out there. Some people may love it. Obviously, Steve Burns loves it. And then Michael Wales was just talking about purple on the heat map. Michael, can you point me to which stock you saw that on? Because I actually would love to see where that's at. I have not seen that. Mahesh even made a post today in the feature product related announcements. I'll try to summarize this real quick, but I didn't even know he was working on this. So this is new to me. This is the first I heard of it, was this morning. A few months ago, we updated our heat map and price trajectory algorithms, which are the heat map here, which I use constantly, and then the oscillator. The price trajectory oscillator is this right here. Now, I don't use that as much, but it is definitely something that is there. There's good data behind it, but it's not something I personally am using. But they notice that both models are almost identical. Learning models may eventually weigh certain factors so greatly and others so sparingly so as to mirror the prevalent input value. After thorough testing, we've determined that this is the case with the price trajectory oscillator, becoming weighted heavily in favor of the accompanying heat map. So what he's saying here is that the results here are looking almost identical to the results here. So much so that it's returning an equivalent or near equivalent value in nearly every instance. So going forward with the next product update in the next 1 to 2 weeks, which, by the way, if you've noticed, we are constantly pushing updates, right? We are working so hard to make OVTLYR the very best platform of all time, the very best stock information investing portal you could ever imagine. So we are constantly pushing updates, right? We don't just sit on our butts around here. Heat map will be used to display the current heat map values plus the price trajectory oscillator direction component. Be assured that all relevant values and information will still be available through the heat map going forward. For those who utilize the PTO, price trajectory oscillator, I'd like to stress that the relevant information isn't going away. You can find it in the heat map. For example, a G50 is correlated to an oscillator value of 100. So G50, which would be somewhere like this one here, this is G45, G46. And if you look just slightly under that, it says oscillator values at 95.47. So I'm learning as well. We've decided to remove the PTO display and replace it with a more immediately usable version of the constituent map. So the constituent map is this over here, which is really cool. If you put any sector or pick any stock like Tesla, since we're talking about my car today. Pick any stock, and then you go over to the price trajectory, the what is the word I'm thinking of? Words, Chris. Constituent map. This is so cool because it goes into this particular sector, which this sector is the discretionary. So Tesla's in the discretionary sector. And then if you hover on any day, let me just hold it right there. You'll see that chart over on the right change. Now that chart on the right is showing you how many stocks are showing fear and how many stocks are showing greed and how deep for that sector. So for the discretionary sector in January 23rd, it was 69 companies were fearful, 149 were greedy. And then we go to today, or almost today, November 19th. We can see 84 were fearful, 134 were greedy. So he's saying we're going to move that over to here, I believe, which is cool. I'm excited about that. I don't know what that's going to look like. Similar references to the PTO, such as in the screener, will undergo changes to the references. So very excited to hear that. Like I say, this is the first I heard about it. We learned it at the same time. So I'm excited to see where that's going. Dave says, one way or another, EVs are the wave of the future. But you saved $7,500 for buying a Tesla. You already received the funds for it. Dude, like, this is the first time in ages I haven't had to pay taxes. That $7,500 was enough to get me back. I was like, yeah, let's go. Get a little refund here. Thanks for the info about the book. You're welcome, Wes. I've seen the purple too. It's around the 0 point. Oh, I see that now. Let me zoom in. You know what? I actually had not noticed that. Hang on. Zoomy. There it is. There's a purple on August 22nd for Tesla. Yeah, look at that. That's interesting. That's a value of heat map R1. Cool. Apparently that was an update I hadn't noticed. October 7th on LC. Let's go to that real quick. Dang it. Asleep at the wheel. I'm here. Looking for that new and magical trading platform. I know. I don't know at what date I can announce it. You're going to be super stoked, by the way. Like, oh yeah, there it is right there. The big purple bar. R1. Also R1. Huh. That's new to me. I am also looking Mikey Mike as well. Okay. And I believe that's everything. So yeah, that's everything I want to cover in the Discord today. All the member highlights that you guys are so awesome at being right there, right? Be sure to share your stories in the Discord as well and tell everybody about OVTLYR. We really need you to do that, right? And we have a very lucrative affiliate program that you can take advantage of by telling other people as well. And we really want to take care of you if you can help take care of us by getting the word out to more people. So hit that like button to tell YouTube to tell other people. Now, let's go look at the market. I want to see the 10 over the 20, price over the 50 on the SPY. Oh, I'm on my Hesh's account. Let me go over here. All right, so when we look at the SPY, we have the 10 over the 20, price over the 50. So all of this is marching higher, right? Don't get in the way of trends, right? Even when you get a sell signal and the market's pushing higher, number one thing is the market rules all, right? 40% of a stock's move is by the market. Then 30% of the stock's move is from the sector. And then the last 30% is the stock individually on its own. That's a rule of thumb as you could take to the bank. So if the market is pushing higher, don't fight the market, okay? I can't tell you how much money I lost with that. Multiple six figures trying to say, oh, and it reaches a new all-time high. Daggum, I need to start shorting. That was the way I initially was taught how to trade, and I just couldn't make any money doing it. It was like, hey, the market's in new... the market has hit a new all-time high. You need to sell calls against that. Why, in the wide world of sports, would you want to sell calls when the market is pushing higher? Nobody who's ever bought SPY in the history of time has ever lost money at this point, right? Right? In theory, of course, people have. But in theory, if you've ever bought SPY previously, ever, you're now up and happy. And why would you want to sell? Buying begets buying, selling begets selling. That's how trends work. So anyway, don't go short. But looking in the market, or looking in the OVTLYR platform, we do see a sell signal on the SPY. And while that loads up, let's also pull up the market breadth. So you can actually see the market breadth right here. And in fact, let me do this. You can add in, this is somewhat new. So you can see the market breadth right here, but you can also layer in the full stocks line. So for example, we were just on Tesla. It'll show you the discretionary market breadth, but on anything, you can add in the full stocks as well, because that's what I've always looked at as full stocks. So it's like over 2,000 at this point. So that'll give you the bigger picture there. Then you can throw on the 10 EMA. You can see actually market breadth is bullish. I actually thought it was bearish right now. Market breadth is bullish. Yeah, for sure. So we almost have the master key. That market breadth is bullish. Market trend is bullish. But the outlier is giving us a sell signal on the SPY. I'm not sure why. I honestly don't know why. But because we do have that sell signal on the SPY, I'm not going to be making any trades right now. Just going to be being defensive, holding cash at the moment. I can't believe SPY is over $600 now. Crazy. Just the other day, I feel like it was at $350. So for me, I'm not going to make any trades today because the master key's not lit up, but it could flip as soon as tomorrow if we do get the buy signal to come through on Outlier here. So let's take the time now to switch gears over to New Trader, Rich Trader. So if you've been following along, we've been going through New Trader, Rich Trader, chapter by chapter. As I mentioned earlier, this is one of my all-time top 5 trading books. Honestly, because it's easy to read, right? It focuses not just on the technicals, but also the trading psychology of it. And I would just recommend it to everybody. So these are my notes for when I first read it ages ago. I don't know when it was, but it's really fun to go back and revisit that. Chapter 14, new traders try to predict, rich traders follow what the market is telling them. Let the market tell you where it's going, right? What do you think the market will do today? I have no idea. If you ask me, that's what I'm going to say. I don't know. Which stocks do you like? The ones that go up. Are you long or short in the market? My system has me long. Do you think this uptrend will continue? I have no idea. This sounds exactly like talking to me. That's the funny part. Because I don't know how long these trends will last. I can only see what is presented to me. And so can you. Rich Trader gritted his teeth. Do you think the job report coming out this morning will be good or bad? And yet another attempt to get an opinion out of him. I don't know if a good report will cause the uptrend to continue or if it will have traders selling the news. I don't predict. I don't have an opinion, and I don't really know. Right? This is me. That's so funny. Like I tell you all the time, I don't follow the financial news. It doesn't matter to me, right? What matters to me is what the price is doing. What I do know is that following trends makes me money, and my system captures profits and trends and gets me out when it reverses. Man, is that cool or what? I didn't mean to change that color. Oh well. Oh, that's funny. I wrote to myself, I've been there, and it is terribly frustrating to have to listen to these kinds of questions. I said that. It's terribly frustrating to have to listen to these kinds of questions. This doesn't predict. It shows you the trend. You have better odds of going with the trend than trying to predict anything. Exactly. I read charts, I trade patterns, and I react to changes in the trends. Most importantly, I follow the market, and it tells me what to do. Golly. Follow the market and let it tell you what to do. Yeah. What I do believe is that traders can make money by consistently following the market's direction. The point of creating your trading system is to develop signals that tell you when a trend begins and when it ends. The signals used to determine a trend are price and volume. All other technical indicators are derivatives of these two, which is super true, right? In TrendSpider, there's like a million different, and you can even request new ones, different indicators here. But the majority of them, as he's saying, are based on price and volume and time. Peter asks, since we don't have all stocks from SPY and Outlier, can Outlier be accurate projecting a sell signal while the SPY is going up? For sure, dude. Like the best way to look at that is to go over to the performance summary. And you can see right here, Outlier with a 74% buy and hold. I'm sorry, 74% return. Buy and hold's at 89%. So buy and hold's outperforming, but keep in mind, the capital efficiency is at 1.53x. So 1.53x means that you are in the market 1.5 times less. So it's not 50% less. What would that be, like 75 basis points less? So 75% of the time, and you're getting approximately the same return, right? So you're in the market less, but you're getting approximately the same return. So your capital efficiency is greater than 1.0. If you were at 1.0, that means you'd be in the market 100% of the time and getting the exact same as buy and hold. But 1.5 means that you're actually doing 50% better in a way, if you want to think about it, with your capital efficiency. So that's a great metric to look at. And, remember, these are our long only signals. We do reverse engineer, we as in the trading room here, into short selling, but not the program, but the signals are long signals, right? So yeah, that performance summary right here on any stock is super useful. In fact, you can look at Tesla. Tesla's bonkers. NVIDIA is also bonkers. Pull up NVIDIA as well. All right, Tesla. By the way, if you haven't checked out these areas, these are so cool. All the stock news right here with the positive and neutrals and negatives, if there is a negative, those are so cool to me. And then the sector has the same news, negative all over the sector. And then the analyst ratings, man, this is really cool. Mahesh was really excited to add these, so I was excited to see that too. So Tesla's performance summary, 627% with a capital efficiency of 5.67, right? That's pretty crazy. And then NVIDIA's, we'll do the math on that in just 2 seconds, Michael. NVIDIA's is 1.72 on capital efficiency. OVTLYR is at 1,700% returns. So let's go over to Tesla here, and I'll show you how to calculate that, Michael. So it says 5.67% or 5.67x. Now, there is a chance I get the numbers backwards, and I might have to massage my formulas to get it to work right, but we should be good. So the OVTLYR is at 627.45%. And buy and hold is at 225.15%. Okay. So then capital efficiency, the way that we calculate that is time in the market. So time in the market is 49%. So if I do this correctly, we should get to that capital efficiency of 5.67. So 49%, meaning you're not in the market 51% of the time. You're only in the market 49% of the time following buy and sell signals here. So if I do this correctly, this divided by this, I didn't do that right. This divided by this, 4.59. Or was it? Hang on. I did the math on this last time. I did an example. I did it perfect the first time. I couldn't believe it. So it's, what is that delta? So this divided by this. No. Oh, nah, I don't know. I can't remember the math off the top of my head, but it has to do with the number of time or how much time you're in the market and then the comparison between the signal returns. So yes, the higher the better. Mark's going to kill me for not remembering that formula. Okay, let's get back over to here. The tools I work with are price, volume, charts, and moving averages. Sometimes looking for extended price trends using RSI. I don't use RSI, but you could. The price and volume of stock reveal investor and trader behavior. Human behavior never changes. Now, that is actually one of the key points of OVTLYR, right? Is getting that investor behavior component and putting numbers to that, right? It creates a pattern you can observe. Greed and fear come into play and carry trends far beyond where rational, fundamental valuations could take them. The market's going to go where the votes carry it. Your job is to vote with the majority. I agree, right? I would say slightly different terms, right? It's more of like the ocean, right? If the tide is coming in and you've got the waves pushing the tide in, you should be riding on those waves rather than trying to paddle against the waves, right? You go a lot farther riding in the waves than pushing out against the waves. If someone thinks they can predict things often enough to create an edge, it's the height of arrogance or ignorance. The only thing we can do with any certainty is to follow price action wherever it leads. We can learn how the market reacts by studying historical data, chart patterns, and trends. We can study how human greed, fear, and ego affect price movements, and that knowledge to our advantage. Got different numbers than you have for Tesla. Oh, never mind. Okay. All's good. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't remember the formula off the top of my head, but it has to do with the difference between the signal return of buy and hold versus outlier, and then how long you're in the market, right? So the greater capital efficiency means that your money is being put to work at 1.0 would be exactly what the market returns were. Anything greater than 1.0 means that you are either having higher returns for the same amount of time in the market, or less time in the market for higher returns. So, I mean, for example, let's just do a for example. And maybe this is the formula and I don't remember it, but if you had 365 days, and then you're only in the market 49% of those, right? 0.49. That means you're in the market 178 days. I believe there's 300 trading days, so let's use that instead. So 147 days. With Outlier, you made 627, about 45%. So in 147 days, that was this divided by this. So 4.2% each day, if you want to consider it that way. 4.27. Whereas if you're in the market completely, that'd be 300 times 1. And then you made 225.15. And then if you copy that formula over, that would be, percent. I was going to say, like, good gravy, I got that wrong. 0.75 basis points. So for each day you're in the market, historically on Tesla, you would have made 75 basis points. For each day you're in the market with Outlier, which is only 49% of the time, you make 4.27%. In fact, is that it? This divided by this. Boom, I did it. I knew I'd get there. There's your number. 568 right there. So yeah, that is the difference. Does that make sense? Y'all following along? Right? You're on a daily basis, right? You're getting 5 times X, 5X, 5.6X, what you would on a comparable day to day if you were to buy and hold the whole time. Discord that shizzle. Anyway, found the formula, so I feel good with that. So that's going to wrap it for today. Like I say, we will be having some content changes coming up in the near future. I know, well, I don't know actually, real quick. So let me go to OVTLYR.com and then go to pricing, because I think the Black Friday pricing is still going on right now. Click the annual button, click the limited time coupon. Ooh, you can still get Black Friday pricing as of right now, which makes it $279 for the year, which is literally $23 a month. So if you don't already have an annual plan, I don't know when Mahesh is going to click the button to switch this over to regular pricing, but you need to go grab that as quick as you can, because this is the lowest price we're going to offer for the whole year. Just so you know, because we kind of like made a schedule on this. This was literally the lowest price. So get that before it goes away. Let us know if you need anything over in the Discord, and tell everybody you can about Outlier. I really need you to do that, and hit the like button, and I'll see you on tomorrow's trading room. Take care, and we'll talk soon.